The next characteristic is inseparability, meaning the service cannot be separated from the customer. In just about all service encounters or service experiences, the customer has to be present while the service is being produced for them. So if you think of getting a haircut, you definitely have to be there in order to get your service experience, because you have to have your hair physically cut. You can't order a haircut to take away. You need to sit in and have it done. If you think of even using a financial service like visiting your bank, you have to be there and play a role in that co-created consumption and production experience of the service. So inseparability means that service delivery requires both the service provider and the service customer to be in contact in order for the service to take place. That's different from manufacturing, where we have a production line and the good can be made in a production line, perhaps even in a different country, stored, shipped, and then delivered to the customer once they buy it. The inseparability of a service requires customer presence. It requires service provider contact, that co-created interaction, and that returns us to the Vargo and Lush research in service dominant logic, looking at how the beneficiary is actually a creator of some of the value that they consume. And that reminds us of the fact that service is a performance, and the performance is going on both sides of the service encounter, both from the producer and the consumer. And if we take the two characteristics we've discussed so far, intangibility and inseparability, they tend to be the principal pillars of the service experience, something that we are consuming when we are buying a service. Intangibility and inseparability create the service experience which, if it's managed well, adds value to the overall service encounter and enables businesses to charge more because the intangible quality of that encounter increases the value. Creating that positive service experience allows differentiation from competitors, and that has shifted us into the contemporary experience economy. But the interesting thing is that at their core, services are often homogeneous, even though we're going to come on and talk about how they can vary. Actually, what you're buying at the very core is often the same, and the service experience differentiates into being something that you associate with a particular brand. If you take some simple everyday encounters that we all have, for example, most of us will fly on a plane certainly once a year. If you're a student studying overseas, it's very likely you're required to travel on airplanes more often. But at its core, air travel is delivering you from A to B, and whether you're on a Ryanair flight or a Virgin Atlantic flight, you're going to be getting the same underpinning service. You're going to start in one location and end in another. But the service experience that is created differentiates, so the experience you would have on board a Ryanair flight is naturally going to be different from the one you'd have on a Virgin Atlantic flight. Getting your hair cut, you expect to walk out with shorter hair perhaps, and maybe different color hair, but if you go to a local barber's and pay €7 compared to going to a more luxurious established hairstyling chain like, say, Tony and Guy, the service experience you're going to have is going to be different in each place. And perhaps even things like your gym membership, the style of gym that you're a member of, ultimately that's an example where you are responsible for the product, because the idea is that you become fitter or stronger as a result of going there. But the environment and the service experience you have in, say, the university gym compared to a more high-end gym chain like Virgin Active are going to be very different.